Greg Lynn, now a convicted murderer, disappears into a prison van. After a marathon trial, prosecutors, police and defence lawyers walked from court, none fully victorious.
Are there any early signs to appeal at this stage?
Greg Lynn's son was also silent.
Geordie, what do you think of the outcome today?
After 6.5 days of deliberations, the jury first returned a not guilty verdict for the murder of Russell Hill, but then, when asked their verdict for the murder of Carol Clay, they said one word: guilty. The deceased campers' families, who endured days of evidence about their loved ones' violent deaths,
Not right now. No worries, not right now.
Issuing a statement that they were both relieved and devastated at the verdicts and thanking the prosecution for an enormous job putting a case together with limited evidence. They say they're heartbroken at the loss of their loved ones and will need time to absorb the verdicts and heal. This torched campsite was, for more than a year, the last sign of secret lovers Russell Hill and Carol Clay, whose disappearance from the rugged Wonnangatta Valley became a major mystery. Weeks of searches, braving rain, snow and an unfurling pandemic, extensive media coverage and appeals from the missing pair's agonised families.
Sometimes I see someone walking down the street and I think it looks a bit like him. I mean, just that little glimmer of hope that it could be him.
Yielded no trace. These photographs, captured near the last known location of Mr Hill's phone, became the breadcrumb that linked Lynn to the mystery. Arrested 20 months after the disappearances, probed with more than 1,000 questions, Lynn gave up this remote location where he dumped and later incinerated their bodies in a bid to cover his tracks. Days later, police recovered this charred wristwatch alongside more than 2,000 fragmented human remains. When the matter reached trial in May, defence lawyers contended the deaths were tragic accidents. But prosecutors argued they were murders, covered up because Lynn knew he was guilty of that charge. There were gasps in the courtroom as the single guilty verdict was delivered. Lynn stared ahead, mostly expressionless, momentarily raising his eyebrows as if to register his surprise. Prosecutors didn't know exactly how Russell Hill was killed, but they argued Carol Clay was shot in the head, and that difference may have contributed to the different verdicts. In court, the 57-year-old told his son, "Don't stress," before being led away. Remanded in custody, where he's already spent more than 900 days.
ABC reporter Jesse Thompson has been covering the trial extensively and he joins us now from the Supreme Court. Jesse, has Victoria Police had anything to say about today's verdict?
Well, today's verdicts are the culmination of what police have called an exhaustive and complex investigation that began with the discovery of that abandoned campsite well over 4 years ago now. Secret listening devices, detailed telecommunications data and roadside cameras were just some of the tools that police used as they tried to solve the mystery of the missing campers. They've issued a statement today thanking everyone involved for their work on that significant case and saying they acknowledge the decision of the jury but going no further than that. And of course, at the centre of this saga are two bereaved families whose loved ones disappeared in very mysterious circumstances. They've had to deal with that as well as the significant public spotlight and media scrutiny that this case has brought, and police have praised those families, the families of Carol Clay and Russell Hill, for their courage and resilience through all that, and say they'll continue to offer them support as they digest this verdict. One big question now is that of Lynn's sentence. Now, in Victoria, the standard sentence for murder is 25 years. This matter will return to court next month for that sentencing process to begin. Another question is that of whether or not Lynn's lawyers will appeal today's outcome, and if they want to go down that path, they have 4 weeks to do so.